everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Bill Varney, Justin Bottrell, and your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, back from Florida, ready to go. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. Thank you all for joining us. It's going to be a phenomenal show, and everything's going to be good, gang. We're super excited. What a phenomenal day you had yesterday out on the water, Justin. That was incredible to watch. I hope some of you guys got to see that live show. That was pretty spectacular. Between you and Captain Al Clowers, you kept us on the edge of our seats all day. And everybody, it's Okuma Wednesday, and I want to thank Akuma for taking care of Justin Bottrell and Bill Varney and Captain Al and Captain Pablo. All of us owe a lot of gratitude to Okuma because they have stepped up big time. We're fishing with some of the best equipment on the planet, if not the best equipment on the planet. So thank you, everybody over there. And oh my gosh, we got all kinds of great things to talk about. The surf fishing is just off the hook. It's incredible right now. The bass fishing's incredible. The bluefin fishing's incredible. And you know what else is incredible? The wind. Woo, baby, do we got some wind. We got some wind, gang. If you don't have your limit of wind yet, well, you're going to get it. It's coming today, tomorrow. It's going to blow till Monday. Mm-hmm. Right, Justin?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It's horrible.
Just in time for the phenomenal fishing, right, Bill?
Well, you know, luckily on the beach, it's not going to blow as hard as offshore. But yeah, you're going to wake up to onshore breezes instead of those calm offshore relaxing breezes we normally have.
Yeah, we got the April style wind at the end of July, which is kind of sad, kind of weird. Everything, the water just creeped up above 70 in a lot of places. And well, that'll all go away. That's so much for 70-degree water, game, because like Bill Varney and I talked about a couple weeks ago before I went to Florida, the surface temperature is warm, but the bottom is cold. And now we're going to have that tendency like we've had, you and I growing up, Bill, is that when the wind blows, the water gets cold. We haven't had that for a very long time, Justin. So now we have it. You know, when Justin drives around out in the middle of the ocean and then he turns around and drives back through his prop wash, you can see a temperature change that quick, Bill, because the water's not very warm, very far down. So we got a lot of changes coming, but
I'm editing a video really quick for you, Dave.
No, it's all good, and I'll put it up there. So, Bill, I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks, buddy. How you doing?
I've been doing good. I've been doing really good. I was out trout fishing yesterday using my Okuma Gear for some big trout on the lake. So, been doing that, and then just been watching you on the road and looking at how exhausted you've been. You look so rested now.
Oh, absolutely. All you got to do is get back into this heat. You know, I left that Florida heat, and I didn't have any heat for 2 days in SoCal, so that was draining, but now I'm back in the heat. Here we are.
Really get you going.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, this wind that came up, you guys, it's really kind of unusual. You know, we had a low up in the Aleutians up in Alaska. And of course, you know, they make their way down south and then make their way in the winter through California and off to the east. Normally in the summer, there's a big high over the west. And so when a low comes about, it goes over us. It basically goes like, you know, Montana, Canada, and then maybe drops down into the Great Lakes or so. This low is really weird. There's a high kind of centered off of Southern California, and it's going to skirt around it and then go down into Baja and then come ashore down there. And that's why we have so much of this wind associated with it. And it's so windy, not near shore, but offshore, because this low is not going to come close to the California coast. It's going to be off the islands away. So, you know, it's weather. Weather's unusual. It changes. We see it change all the time. And it will turn over the water, but that water temperature will come right back as more of these south swells push up from the south.
Yeah, thank goodness we don't have anything on the horizon as far as tropical depressions or storms right now. I look out. My app allows me to look out 21 days because it's kind of important for us down here in Cabo. We have to be ready. We have to go get gas when it's coming and get our water and get everything ready. So I keep a pretty close eye on it. You're not going to have that big push, at least for another month, gang. I don't see anything on the horizon coming. Thank you, Lord. Water down here is up to 84 degrees though, so it's just a matter of time before that stuff starts pushing in. But you know what was cool is why I was gone. The wind blew like crazy and it dropped the water. I guess that water in some spots down here got down to 68, 69.
Wow.
Cool for
Wow.
this time of year.
Yeah, and that's why you're not seeing those. You know, remember we talked a couple months ago, a month and a half ago, about the tropical storm that formed below you. That was the earliest on written record of a tropical storm. And you were just like, oh my gosh, you know, it's going to be one of those years this year where we have 50 hurricanes. But because the water is so cool where you are, relatively speaking, when those storms, those tropical storms get out into the Pacific, rather than turning into a hurricane, that cooler water, they're just petering out and falling apart. So it's traditional that we see the storms down by you in August and September and maybe in the beginning of October. So we're not out of the woods yet, but it looks like it's going to be a slow start.
Thank God. Thank goodness for that. So Justin, yesterday out there offshore, I mean, everybody's talking about it. They saw your cool post on the website and they saw your really good video this morning that you posted, which was pretty epic. What did you see out there? I know it's all going to be, the Etch-a-Sketch is upside down right now and Bill's shaking the hell out of it. It's not even going to be anywhere near what it was when you get back out there Tuesday or Wednesday next week. But what did you see yesterday? Pretty exciting stuff, right?
Yeah. So hold on, let me just send this to you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I seen was like one boat going off my bow, getting very. He was like 50 yards. He was way, 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 way out there, heading towards another part of San Clemente Island. And then maybe because I was the biggest boat out there, he decided I looked delicious or something, and he wanted to come and get me. He decided he's going to drive off my bow 50 yards back and forth. I'm like, what is he doing? What's really funny is this is a good example of keep your eyes open, your head on a swivel, use your binoculars, slow down, and just look. There was tuna. So I turned right. And then trying to get away from him, I was talking to Dave while Al was live. I was talking to him on the phone. And he's like, just stop and let that guy go. Like, he's going to wonder why you're stopped. He's going to come over and probably stare at you. And then he's going to leave. So I was like, I'm just going to head north. And then I'll figure it out. I'll find some fish somewhere else instead of where I'm headed. And I'll just let him keep going his merry way. So I turned right and I headed north. And I looked in the binoculars, and straight out in front of me, maybe about a mile, there was some fish just making little tiny splashes on top of the water. Little here and little there, and that's about it. The boat decided, oh, I'm going to go back in front of him. So he kept going in front of me again. And if he just slowed down and paid attention to what he was doing and what he was looking for, he would have seen that there's tuna right off my bow. Instead, he never even seen him, nothing, and he just went on. So I told Dave, I'm going to go live right now because I'm going to get bit. So then that guy, finally, he didn't see the tuna, so he left, and he went another way. And then I went live, and then it was like, hook up. So it was pretty cool. But the fish were really hard to see yesterday. It was mainly fish marks at like 150 feet. And every now and then, I mean, very rare. There's no foaming fish or jumpers or anything like that. Every now and then you'd see a little splash. And if you don't know what that splash looks like, then you're just going to be chasing whitecaps. So we would see the little fish kind of splash, and we'd head over that way. Or we'd see some marks, and I'd mark them. And then as I'm marking the fish, I would see which way they're headed. So I would track them to see which way they're going. And that's how we got bit. But I made a cool video.
Yeah, I'm getting it loaded while you're talking.
Yeah, whenever he wants to put it up. But yeah, it was
trying.
Cool. There wasn't a lot of fish. There was scattered fish here and there. So not a lot of boats either. I think out within about 7 to 10 miles of me in the binoculars, I've probably seen maybe 10 boats max, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
So you didn't need to have boats to catch fish? That's weird.
Yeah, I sure was looking for them though.
Yeah.
And were you fishing anchovy?
No, we're fishing Medmac.
Okay.
Medmac. at a very, very high rate of speed.
At like eight knots?
No,
Oh,
16,
no,
17.
way more than that.
Really?
Yeah, like
Wow.
16, 17 knots is what those jigs have to be trolled at, right, Justin?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
we were hauling butt.
That's a lot of fuel.
Yeah. And what else we noticed also is every single fish we caught yesterday, they inhaled the whole entire bait. The whole entire Mad Mac, they inhaled the whole thing. It was pretty crazy. One of them, we had to cut the whole gill plate out just to get our lure back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's good, though. They weren't going to fall off, huh?
No, not at all.
And how big were your fish, Justin?
They're like 10 pounds.
Oh, perfect. Perfect eating size.
No, I'm just kidding. There was, I think 2 of them were probably in like that 60 to 80 range.
Wow.
And then one of them was a respectable 130, 140.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great. Here's the video we're talking about. Watch this.
Dave can edit. Dave can talk over this video.
Hold on. All right, gang. So look at that. He's going to start winding it in with that new Akuma line winder that we talked about on the show. Watch this. He's going to get bit winding it in. He's fast winding it. Check it out. All of a sudden, he's going to get hammered here in a minute.
Hey, we're meeting like everywhere, Paul. Yeah, everywhere.
Paul's on one, and
Big,
Justin's winding in.
Crazy amount of fish.
Just keep watching. It's going to happen here in a second. It's pretty wild. I was watching this going, oh my gosh. This is why you want to wind as fast as you can on your trolling lures, gang, because sometimes you'll get a free one while you're sitting there. The problem was it was just bit right there.
There you go, double, baby.
How wild is that? Bit on the winder, you guys. How cool is that?
Yeah. That's one thing we've been using, Anthony and I have been using for 3 years now. And we discovered that because Anthony was reeling one in one time. And on that thing, he's like, man, this sucks because you're always winding with it's way out there. We're trolling like 300 yards back. And reeling 300 yards of line, that's 900 feet of line in. It sucks. So like, how can we make it easier? So Anthony bought one of those things. I was like, you go ahead and buy it. So he buys it, hooks it up to our reel. This is 3 years ago. Starts reeling it in, and all of a sudden, boom, bent. I was all, what happened? He's all, I don't know. I got kelp. And then the line started peeling back the other way. And I'm all, no, you got a fish. He's all, look up. So we started using that. And probably a good 70 to 75% of the time when we use that, when the fish are thick, we get hooked up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's what
we're exposing it to everybody.
When I was a deckhand, that's what we used to do when we were trolling for albacore. You try to get over to that rod as fast as you can. When they get a jig strike, put the tip in the water and wind in your feather as fast as you can and get bit on the way in and then hand it to one of the passengers. But most people just go over there and grab the trolling rod bill and just,
yeah.
They're not into it. Justin's high speed reeling that thing. It was so cool to watch it get bit on the live show. Thanks for sending us that. That was rad.
Yeah, no problem.
That is cool.
So what's
super cool?
We're using the 160 and a 200. And my favorite's the green mackerel because if you have mackerel in your tank and you slow troll those way back, you're going to get bit. So my theory is green mackerel works.
And then I just saw something come up on the screen. Brian's talking about gyro binos. Yeah, we talk about it all the time on the game plans. I talk about it every week on the game plans. If you're going offshore and you don't have a good pair of binoculars, and today a good pair of binoculars starts at $3,000. And if your binoculars didn't cost at least $3,000, they're a pair of binoculars. They're not a good pair. And if you don't have a good pair, you know what you're doing out there? You're fishing for boats. I mean, Jimmy Kingsmill summed it up perfect. We talk about it on the show all the time. Gyro stabilizing binoculars are the key to success. That is what separates the guys that are catching them every day from the rest of the fleet. guys, if you go on a sport boat today, you see 4 or 5 guys in the gyro stabilizing binoculars. You go on some of the higher end yachts, like some of the boats I drove. So everybody, some of the bigger yachts have 6 pairs of gyros, and each pair costs $6,000 a piece, because it matters. If you can't find the fish, I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, Justin. It's cool to see all those pretty boats out there, like the guy was looking at you yesterday. But you can do that in the harbor. You don't even have to waste your fuel.
Yeah, you can see even better boats in the harbor.
Way up closer. You can get closer. You're not going to get yelled at.
Yeah.
I loved it, you guys, when Tim Ekstrom was on and he said with the gyros that he could see a fish's tail like miles away and then point the boat to it. And a couple hours later, he was there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I found 2 big sharks yesterday on the gyros.
Wow.
Nice.
Really big ones, yeah. And here's what sucks about the gyros. Let me tell you all about this. If you have trollers out and you're cruising at a slower speed, well, a high-speed troller, and you're not cruising at your normal speed that you're traveling, and you spot a fish right in front of you, and you turn your autopilot to go straight to it, and you take your binos down, it can take you a freaking hour to get to the doggone spot you just looked at, because it looks like it's right here in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that sucks about it. Like when I take Anthony sees fish that are like, we're leaving Long Beach and he'll see him at Catalina. And I'm like, dude, what are you looking at? He's all, just head that way. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I head that way, and all of a sudden there's a foamer, but it takes us an hour to get there, an hour and a half. Like, how the heck do you see that way over there? I'm like, it's crazy. So the thing that's why I said it sucks is because if you're limited on fuel, then you're going to have an issue, because you're going to see the fish way clear out there. And as you get there, you're going to be like, dang, maybe I shouldn't have gone this far. Like
Right.
last week we went out and we were fishing the backside of Clemente, and we were in between Clemente and Tanner Bank. And Anthony's all, dude, I see a big foamer coming up. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go further towards Tanner Bank. I'm like, dude, my boat's limited on fuel. I can't go there. So I'm looking at my chart plotter. I'm like, dude, we're heading west. I should not be heading west anymore. He's like, dude, no, keep going. I see him out there. I'm like, no, Anthony, we can't. I just had to tell him, no, we're just turning. We're turning away right now. Just forget about those fish.
That's funny. That's amazing. And they talk about the binoculars that are used on battleships and aircraft carriers, and those things can see like 200 miles like it's 100 yards. I can't imagine having one of those on the boat. You'd really need a big fuel tank.
Yeah. Yes, you would. So.
Yes, indeed. It's all about binoculars. You got to have a good pair of binoculars. Lance, I'm just grabbing a picture. Yesterday, my son Riley was out fishing catfish, and he called John from River Cats Tackle. He's been on the show with Bill and I, and Justin introduced me to the whole crew over there. Well, he spent an hour talking to John, and then he ended up catching this. I mean, right after he talked to John, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but Riley caught this beautiful, his buddy John's holding it up in this picture, but he caught this beautiful catfish. I'm trying to get it up for you guys to see it there. Let's see. Come on. Look at that.
Wow, that's
Lance,
nice
what do you think of that? That's their first catfish ever. And look at that thing. They're so proud of that. Last night they caught that, and that had a lot to do with talking to John over there at River Cats Tackle. So this community is just unbelievable. And I'm so happy that we've been able to put together some great people and bring all this phenomenal knowledge across the United States together with us. And it's pretty cool. It's happening, and I'm super stoked. And being out in Florida, seeing all the people, and I got 5 or 6 guides from Florida now to the Midwest that all want to be part of our live fishing shows. So I'm pretty excited about it.
That's great. That's great, because we really get a wide range of different information about different fishing styles. And also it's cool. Like when we go to Louisiana, now we got somebody to go hang out with.
Yeah, like Daniel did from ReelQuick. He stopped there, and John took him fish, and John just stopped his life on a Saturday morning and took Daniel out fishing and caught him a bunch of big flipping catfish. It was pretty cool. And today's a special day over at Justin's house. Tell everybody. And where is the little booger eater?
Hold on 1 second. I'm texting him right now.
Yeah, we need to get that little booger eater in here. Everyone's wishing him a happy birthday on here. And he ain't here with us. That little
knucklehead.
That little booger eater. That little
Yes, he
snot
is.
gobbler.
That he is.
Where's that little snot gobbler? Yeah, happy birthday to Ryland. It's a big day over at the Bottrell house. Amanda got up early and made Justin and Ryland and Madden pancakes this morning. I wanted to go get some pancakes with some extra butter on them.
Oh,
Is he coming?
sounds so good.
There he is. Birthday boy. Happy birthday, Ryland. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
A lot of people on the side here wishing you a happy birthday. Your buddy Lisa.
How old are you,
Matt.
Ryland?
11.
Okay.
11?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, you're like fully old. You're like a lot of people wishing you a happy birthday, buddy. Good to see you. Are you tired?
A little.
Yeah,
what
what,
you
from
been
playing
doing?
video
Why you so
games?
tired? What have you been doing?
I've been doing tackle football.
Yeah, speak up a little bit.
I've been doing tackle football.
Okay. Every day, all day?
Yeah.
You look annihilated. You look super tired. It's hard being 11, huh?
Kind of.
People don't understand the struggle of an 11-year-old boy. It's gnarly.
That's it? Nothing else? What are you doing?
The tax bracket, everything. Now you've moved up into a higher tax bracket, being 11. You got to worry about all these taxes now and who you're going to vote for in the midterms. It's tough, right?
Yeah.
You gonna pay your taxes?
1 year closer to buying a fishing license.
How's your wife and how's the kids? They're good?
How's your wife?
What?
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to get you to wake up, dude. Come on. All right, Ryland, go back out to the pool. I'm sure you're wiped out. Goodbye. Thank you. Happy birthday.
in the
Bye-bye.
He's all, you're weird. You're weird.
So what do you think, Bill, with all this wind coming, what should we be looking forward to this weekend? Because none of us are going to get to go out on a boat.
Yeah, you know, if I was going to go down to the beach this weekend, it's going to be one of those early morning, you know, not so much wind periods. I think in the afternoon, we're looking at about 15 to 20 knots through the weekend. So quite a bit of wind in the afternoon. That is not going to lead so much to great afternoon fishing. Of course, we got the Grenion Run coming up tomorrow night through Sunday. So that's going to be good if you're out there collecting for stuff. And I saw a couple notes there from Matt and Jason, and they were asking me about what's the difference between my weekly fish report that's on YouTube, and also it's on Your Saltwater Guide, and the conditions report, which is what is only for the members of Your Saltwater Guide. Every week I give a surf fishing report. I've given it for years, and it's just about Santa Barbara to San Diego, what people are catching in general there. Occasionally we talk a little bit about what they're using for bait along the way. But as far as for the Your Saltwater Guide members, it's completely different. It's great that you get the surf fishing report and everybody gets it. You know, hey, they're catching Corbina and Ventura and they're getting this in Santa Barbara. But when, where, how, why, when do you do those things to be successful? So on Your Saltwater Guide every week on our game plan, we go over water temperature, how that water temperature affects surf fishing, whether it's going up or down. If it goes down, when is it going to come back? And if it goes up, is it going to go down? So we talk about water temperature, has a lot to do with surf fishing. We talk about the swells. So we talk about the swell direction. What does that mean? How big is it going to be? Where are we going to have to fish because the swells are too big or too small? Talk about that every week on the game plan. We talk about tides, which are probably, other than a sharp hook, the most important part of surf fishing is knowing the tides. So for example, like this upcoming week, we've got low morning tides and higher evening tides. So there's a certain kind of fishing you'll do in the morning and a certain way to gear up for that we'll talk about. And there's a certain thing, fishing you'll do in the evening based on that higher tide. So we go over tides. Then we talk about wind, like we're talking now. Wind is really important. We want to know what direction it's coming from, how strong it's going to be, when it's going to happen, and when it's going to last. We talk about the weather. Now, the weather this time of year is not a big deal. You watch the weatherman in LA, he's says the same thing every single day, that it's foggy in the morning and sunny in the afternoon. But as the seasons change, we get some really big changes in the weather. And when we're surf fishing, particularly fall, winter, and spring, it's really important to know what's going to go on over the next few days with weather. And then lastly, every single week we go over a tip that is only on your Saltwater Guide to make you a better surf angler at the beach. We've talked about in the past couple of weeks transitioning to new baits because we're getting late in the season for sand crabs. So what do we do next when we stop getting bites? This week, we're going to talk about stingrays and staph infections. So those are all the things that we cover on your saltwater plan. In addition to videos, dozens of articles, being able to call me at any time and ask me questions or set you up for the weekend. Everybody who signs up gets an autographed book and a fish ID card from me. And then all of those who decided to come get to come for free on Saturday to our surf fishing clinic at Bolsa Chica, which includes not only bait and instruction, but coffee and donuts. So there's a lot with your saltwater guide that you get by joining.
There you go. So that hopefully that cleared that up a little bit. Gang, I got to show a video real quick that I made with the Okuma guys, John Bretz and I, showing off the new Tesoro reel, the slow pitch jigging reel that I used at the show. This is a phenomenal video. John breaks it down exactly how you're going to use this and why it's such a phenomenal reel. This is the Tesoro lever drag slow pitch and reel. Check this thing out. It's incredible.
Hey guys, this is John Bretz with Okuma Fishing Tackle. What we have here is a purpose-built jigging reel, the new Tesoro 2000. This is going to come in right and left hand, and it's going to be introduced for the 2026 tackle season. What's amazing about this reel is that the body, the side plates, it's all full machine cut aluminum, 6061 T6 aluminum. You'll notice the frame is actually cuts out so you actually have more access to the spool. So a really nice high-end feature there. The other thing you'll notice is that it's got a massive gearbox. It houses a 5.5 to 1 gear ratio that gets you 39.4 inches of line pickup with every turn of the handle. But that massive gearbox features all stainless steel gears. So the main gear and the pinion gear are going to be heavy-duty stainless steel oversized gears. The other thing that's nice about this reel is that because it's built specifically for jigging, is that it's got an extremely long handle with that offset T-bar. Now with this handle, you can adjust it to two different positions. You can either have a 98 millimeter or 110 millimeter length that you can adjust on your own. So a really nice feature depending on your application. Now this is a narrow reel, again, built specifically for braided line for guys jigging. So it holds 490 yards of 50-pound braid. You do have line indicators on there so that you know where you're at. If you got a big fish or how deep you are, you know precisely where your line's at. The amazing thing with this reel is the drag system. It features a dual force drag, which is a carbonite drag system, but this is different than what you've seen on the McCartys in the past. This drag has drag washers on both sides of the spool, so you get even pressure on the spool. The advantage there is it helps reduce turning force. So when you turn that handle under heavy drag, you're not gonna feel that tension. In addition to that, one of the things that amazes me with this reel is that it features a triple anti-reverse. That's right, triple anti-reverse. So it features 9 high-performance stainless steel ball bearings, but then it has 2 quick set anti-reverse ball bearings that give you that instant stopping power. But in addition to that, the double stacked anti-reverse bearings, you have a mechanical backup system in place. So if for some reason something was ever to happen to the quick set anti-reverse bearing, you do have that backup in place. So just a ton of features and functionality in this reel. But again, with this reel being purpose built, what we did is we put a spool lock system in here. So on the palm side of the reel, you'll actually see it looks like a clicker button. That's not a clicker button. What that does is that when you're jigging over a reef, a rocky structure, if you get your jig hung up, and of course you're fishing braided line with a little bit of a leader, you want to be able to bust that jig out or bend the hook so that you can get that whole system out. So you spool lock that system by pushing that down and start cranking, and then you're able to actually get that jig out. Any other way, the line's going to totally slip and you're going to have a lot of difficulty breaking out of that structure. The other nice thing about this reel is it's very lightweight. It's going to come in a right and left hand retrieve model, and it's going to be 20.9 ounces. So very light weight construction, even with that machined aluminum build with the stainless steel gears. Now, if you want to find out more information on this new Tesoro jigging reel that's backed by a 3-year warranty, check it out at a retailer near you or on OkumaFishingUSA.com.
And gang, if you want that reel or any of the other great products over at Akuma, just give me a call. My phone number is up on the bottom of the screen. I'll make sure that you get taken care of the right way. And all you got to do, any product you want from Akuma, just give me a call and I'll be able to help you out as much as I possibly can, steer you in the right direction, and make sure you get taken care of the right way by Akuma. So gang, that reel, I got to use it at the show. I got some videos Brian just sent me. That's what I was looking at right now while I was watching this. Brian just sent me the videos. Bill, you'll be blown away. And Justin, I was at the Largemouth Bass Aquarium doing a seminar with the slow pitch jigging reel and the Akara jig. And I had largemouth bass eating out of my, and I don't even know anything about largemouth bass. They were eating out of car. I was using that slow pitch jigging reel, and I made a horrible mistake. I had John on the show, Bill, with me last Wednesday, and we talked the Wednesday before when you were with your wife. The Wednesday before, I had John, and he told me all about the reel. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting old or something, but I forgot that he said that wasn't a clicker. And I'm over there, and I can't get the thing to turn because I thought I turned the clicker on. I look like a complete potato head. Then I got the jig stuck in a rock in the aquarium. Got all of it on video. It was wonderful. I looked like I know what I was doing. But every time I flicked that lure in the water, the bass were eating it down to their butthole. It was pretty cool. One time I didn't even know if I was going to get it out of the largemouth bass's mouth. So if you need to know about slow pitching, I'm your guy. I got it figured out. I'm an expert now, like all those guys that can tell you how to catch a wahoo in Southern California. I got that wahoo seminar figured out. Remember in 2015 when we caught a wahoo, and then the next 3 years, all these superstars were doing wahoo seminars? You get up early in the morning, you go out on your boat, you throw a marauder in the water, you drive around all day till it gets dark. If that doesn't work, the next day you put a marauder in the water. You drive around all day till it gets dark. That's a cool seminar. I mean, these guys were getting paid to do that seminar. So I got the slow pitch thing down now. I can start doing seminars, traveling around the world, doing the slow pitch jigging thing.
Is there a video of you doing this at the ICAST show?
Yeah, I got a couple.
I got to see this.
Yeah, you will. You'll see it next Monday or Tuesday. It's pretty good.
That's going to be hilarious.
Is slow pitch a common technique for green bass?
Yeah. Yeah, it is now.
I can see it already. I'll narrate the video. Hey,
And
everyone, I'm Dave Hansen. Hey, watch this. I'm going to start doing this. Oh, this stupid reel doesn't even work. Oh, gosh dang it. Oh, let's see another one. Let me do another one. Oh, this one doesn't work either. Okay.
Then I got the jig stuck in the only rock.
That
The
rock
only
jumped
rock-
in front of my jig. What the heck is going on here? He got funky with that cage.
And then I had a lady, Bill, stop me in the middle of my seminar and told me to be quiet. And what? I'm like, oh my God, you're lucky we're not in Southern California. I would have made her cry in front of everyone, but I'm a guest in Florida, so I had to be nice.
It was like that. Well, Justin saw it too. It was like that lady at PCS who told you to stop talking about trans people.
My wife came in here right now and said, "Are you okay? What's going on?" Because I'm on. Hey, I'm Dave Hansen. Hey.
Hey, Dave Burris. Hey, guys.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I had a time of my life over there in Florida, gang, and we're bringing on some really big sponsors. I got approached by so many different companies that I had to call Elliot and say, hey, I don't know what to do. I don't even know how we're going to fit all these people on there, but I'm the kind of guy that doesn't say no. So I got a bunch of big sponsors coming on board, gang. You're going to be all very impressed. Things are happening for Your Saltwater Guide and the family and the community, gang. You're going to be impressed with the people that we're bringing into the program. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm not announcing anybody till I have a signed contract, but you'll be impressed. Big names. When I was wandering around on the floor, it was pretty crazy to be in Florida and be recognized. I'm pretty happy. And it's because of all of you watching all our videos and being a part of this. Like, I'll just be honest. There was a lot of influencers out there, but there's no influencers that put out 3 brand new videos every single day and do a live podcast 6 days a week and put out 3 or 4 live fishing shows a week. Everybody there was like, you do what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in it to win it. I only know how to do stuff 100 million miles an hour or I don't do it. And I do it to the very best of my ability. And they're like, you do what? How many live videos? I go, 6 days a week, a live podcast, 6 days a week. I do it, and I haven't missed in 6 years. I have 708. What is this? 787 episodes on Spotify. Really? Yeah, and I got over 5,000 videos on YouTube right now, and they're just like blown away. So, you know what though, Bill? The industry kind of saw that there's a decline. If you don't jump on this social media wagon quick, if you're not in, you're going to be out, and it's going to be faster than you can imagine. I listened to a guy who's super smart. His name's Elon Musk, and if you guys aren't on board in this in the next year and a half, you're done. Your business is no longer going to exist. I'm sorry. That it is the way it is. And there was a lot of people walking around out there at ICAST going, uh-oh, 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 yeah, uh-oh. You guys, uh-oh. No one puts out more content than I do, though, so get on the bus or get out of the way. I've been saying it for a long time. And I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. If your company got its feelings hurt, I am so sorry. You're not going to be in business anymore anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, it's such a great way to reach people all around the world. And I mean, when you think of the old style of marketing that these companies did with envelopes and stamps and postcards, and I mean, that is a thing of the past unless you have a very small group that you're marketing to. But when you're talking about fishing, of course, that's all of us around the world. We love fishing, every part on the planet. So it's so great to be on social media and get the word out to everybody.
Yep.
And then Brent, you asked a question earlier about, is that the reel that Dave played the commercial for that we're using on my boat? Nope, that's not the reel. So if that reel that you're using on the boat, which is the only reel in production, if it does make it to the market, it won't be till next year. So.
And they're going to have the same innards. They're just changing the frame, the outside, to make it look more sexy.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, Alex, I have 800,000 followers. I have 137,000 on TikTok. I got 400,000 on Facebook. I got 135,000 on Instagram. I got 97,000 on YouTube. I got 50,000 on X, 31,000 on Threads, 21,000 on Rumble. So yeah, there's some people out there that were very proud of their Instagram followers, but that was all they had. And then it fell off dramatically. If you're not on every single platform, you're just cheating on yourself.
Absolutely.
Alex looks like he's a barber. That's pretty cool.
No, he's the guy. He's gain a point. He's the man.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Calico Bass. He's the man. He's a great human being. He's a wonderful human, and he cuts all the guys' hairs. He's trained by George Clough, the greatest calico bass fisherman on the planet Earth. And then all the other guys that fish calicos are just wishing they were George Clough. And Alex got trained by George and got shown all the ropes and everything. He was on the show talking about it yesterday. George showed Alex all the different landmarks and how to line stuff up. Calico bass, the greatest fish in the ocean to catch. You guys got to watch Captain Al Clowers catch 160 calicos yesterday with that family. It looked like a trip on Justin's boat.
That's
Pretty wild. We don't even know how many we normally catch. It's just full speed all the time. Calico bass and anchovies, they're the best.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest
Absolutely.
calico.
Anchovies catches everything. Look at Jason Cutter caught his first white sea bass on my boat the other day on an anchovy. That was pretty cool. We were catching barracuda, calico bass, and white sea bass anchovies. So
Everything eats the anchovy.
Yeah. And a couple of amazing catches this week, you guys, on the beach. Up in Santa Barbara, they're seeing a ton of sardine right offshore. So that's really interesting. It looks like the anchovies kind of gone around the sardine and pushed it north. But a couple of big catches this week at the beach down at Surfside, that Sunset Beach area. One of our anglers caught a 3 to 4 pound bonefish down there. Now, I have fished for bonefish in Aruba, Fiji, Hawaii, all over the world. The biggest one I've ever caught is 10 pounds. And the biggest one I've seen here down in San Diego has been 12 to maybe 16 inches, the biggest one I've caught, maybe a pound and a half. So to see that they're all the way up now in Huntington Beach is really good news. The farthest north we've seen one was a couple of years ago. There was one caught in Torrance. But to see these bonefish come in, it's exciting to think that maybe in 5 or 6 years, we're going to see some, 8-10 pounders out there. So that's crazy. And then down in Carlsbad, where the water goes under PCH there and out from the power plant there, a guy fishing an anchovy on the bottom a couple of days ago caught and released a 30 to 40 pound black sea bass in the surf. So
Holy Christ.
Besides the corbina and the halibut and the white sea bass and the stripers and the perch, you got black sea bass now in the surf. So amazing good surf fishing recently.
Heck yeah. It's just all around. The anchovies are the driving force. And if you remember, Bill, that sardine should be up north because Monterey, the city of Monterey, was built on the back of the sardine. That's why they call those sardines the Monterey sardines. That's their name. If you look them up, they're called the Monterey sardine. And that's where they should be. They should stay put up there. Stay away from Southern California. Like Justin and I were laughing on the show on Monday. How many people do we see on social media going, I'm not going to fish because they don't have any sardines?
It seems like the San Diego people mainly. I mean, nothing against San Diego, but it seems like the San Diego people are like, I want sardines. I want sardines.
Hey, I understand if I'm going on the Royal Star and I'm going to go down there to the ridge and you got fish that average 30 pounds. Yeah, I want some sardines. But hey, we're in Southern California. Yeah, there's a little tiny bit of yellowtail in around right now. And there's a little bit of this and there's a little bit of that. But you know what? All that stuff in Southern California loves to eat the anchovy. And to think that I talk about, I got videos on my website all about it. You pull up to the bait barge and the bait attendant says, all we got is anchovies today. The minute you hear that, you plop your butt down on your tackle box, you start sucking your thumb and you start crying. You know what Justin and I are doing? We're driving from San Pedro down to Newport or down to Dana Point to get those anchovies. Or if we're in Dana Point and they got them in Pedro, we're driving up there. Because why? Because we want to catch fish. We don't want to bite. If sardines are cool if you want to bring back a bait all chewed up, right, Justin?
Yeah,
Or
crazy.
feed the sea lion.
Yeah, yesterday I got back to the dock, and as soon as we parked the boat, a lot of people come over, and oh my gosh, you got some big tuna, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, we got big tuna, woo. Yeah, as you know, I'm not a huge giant tuna person, but if someone wants to go catch them, we'll target them. So we get back to the dock, and this one guy comes over, and he says, hey, what do you run? I said, Bowline Sport Fishing. He's like, dude, I can make some flyers and postcards for you and send them out. I'm all, no, that's kind of ridiculous. I have Your Saltwater Guide and social media. That's the biggest network you can ever see. I'm on. No one looks at postcards or flyers or anything else. They throw them away. People leave it at my door. I throw the doggone things away. It's all social media right now. And that's what I told the guy. And he's like, you do have a good point. I'm like, yeah. So why? I'm like, you have a social media with millions of followers or not? Oh, no, not right now.
Yep. That was my spiel at the show. I walk up to people. I had so much confidence going and doing what I do and knowing what I know. I would just laugh at these brochures they had on the tables. I'm like, guys, you can have me repping your product for half the cost of that garbage you spent. Not one human being in this building is reading that flyer. They're not. You look at them, they're all walking around like this. They're not picking up a flyer. And if you hand them the flyer, you know where it goes? The next 30 steps down, right in the trash. You're not looking at flyers. No one's looking at a flyer.
It's like a business card, right? So the whole theory about the business card is it's just a little card. And what's the number one thing people do? 95% of people, they take the business card because they're given it and they throw it away. They never even look at the doggone thing. So I decided, why not make business cards as a keychain? Like I do on my 3D printer. So I was like, why not do that? Because then there's a chance that someone will possibly keep it more than they would keep a card.
And look at Captain Al's biggest bonefish, 19 and a half inches. That's a whopper bonefish.
That is
big. Holy cow.
That is a big one for here. Wow.
Oh, yeah. And then, Alex, something else about us fishing artificial lures and surface irons and stuff. If you can throw a bunch of anchovies in the water and then let me stand on the back of your boat and throw a lure, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to get bit on a lure every cast. Not because I'm the greatest lure in the fish in the world, but you know what? When you get those fish wound up into a frenzy like Justin loves to do, drive around the edge of the kelp and throw some anchovies in the water and then stop when the bass start backflipping. Then all of a sudden, everybody on the boat's a great lure fisherman. Anchovies are the key to the whole thing. That's why you got that bitchin' sea bass with Jason Cutter, because of those anchovies. You would have been lobbing those 8-inch sardines in that kelp. Well, you wouldn't have been there long enough to see all that cool stuff happening. If you look at that picture on the back of your boat, Justin, on the Pokeco mat, all those bass, people would be blown away if they found out you caught those on anchovies.
I know, right? And fly line, no weight at all. Light 15, 20 pound, the GT4 fluorocarbon on a little tiny baby #2 hook. Throw it out there, wada bam.
And how cool are those bait feeder spinning reels?
Oh my gosh. Ask everyone that was on the boat. They're all watching right now.
Yeah, that Akuma, Bill and I talk about it all the time because for surf fishing, Akuma makes such a great product that they're not. Akuma sells more rod and reels than any other company in the world because they have a line of products that are priced to the consumer. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of companies that sell a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of companies that sell rods and reels. If you got to be the president of the company to get it, or you got to take a second out on your house to buy the reel or the rod or whatever. Akuma has whatever you want a reel that you have to take a second out on your house. We have those. It's called a Makira. But if you want a rod and reel that you can take down to the beach, like Bill has boxes of them in his office there, we have those too. That you're not gonna cry and you're not gonna start getting pouty if you get some sand in it. You know you didn't take a second out on your house. And then those bait feeder reels that you have, those are mid-range bait feeders. And they make everybody look like a phenomenal fisherman, right, Justin?
Yeah, they do.
And you and Amanda didn't have to take.
It's cool. The sound, right? Everyone's senses are hearing, eyes, and mouth and nose, right? If you see the fish splash, that's one sense. Like, yeah, I get you all fired up, right? And like whenever I go fishing, I see a fish splash at all. I'm like, yeah, everything has to come to a stop. And I'm like, get some, and everything. Your adrenaline starts pumping. Now, if you hear your line going out, that's one thing as well. I was trying to think of something else. Sorry, something else is going on over here. So, freaking kids. So, if you can hear your line ripping off your reel, that's another thing. So all you have to do is put that into that free spool, click the bait feeder part, that little click, click. That's all you have to do. Close the bell, or the whatever Ryland calls it, and you'll hear that go zzz, really fast. And all you have to do from there is reel. So yeah, sorry, someone here was making.
Yeah, when I was guiding, Bill, I had 5 of those in my car all the time. When I would show up on people's boats, I'd go down and look, see what they had, and if I needed, I'd run back up to the car and I'd get those. And I'd be taking care of 4 or 5 people all by myself on their own boat, and those bait feeders would be going off all day. And just like Brett says right here on the thing, yeah, when you hear that sound, zzz, you count 1, 2, 3. Turn the handle, and you got a fish. It's that simple. It makes it almost dummy proof. But what I used to tell people is that's the fastest I've ever heard anybody count to 3. You left out the 1 and the 2. They're like, hey! I'm like, yep, you didn't get them. Try this. 1, 2, 3. Click. But you hear that sound, Justin, and you just start to hear it. Zzz, bam! They put it in gear, and they're like, wow, that was the fastest 3 I've ever heard. And they're like, what do you mean? I
count to 10, because then that's the real 3. Count to 10.
They're just like, hey! I'm like, that's not 3. You forgot the 1 and the 2. Let's try it again. But it's fun. It makes it fun because then everybody on the boat, Bill, starts to get into it. And they start razzing, especially with the group you had the other day, Justin. They start razzing each other. They're like, yeah, 3. Yeah. Brett, that wasn't 3. Daryl, that wasn't 3. Jason, that wasn't 3. Lisa, come on, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you just start to have fun with everybody. Yes, you did, Donnie Brockman. Yes, you did. And I was hard to teach because I had a learning disability back then. It was called, yeah, we won't even say what it was called. If you want to know what it was called, look at that interview with Hunter Biden 2 days ago. That's kind of where my head was at back in those days.
Beep, 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 beep.
I had to try to work him into the show because we're all such huge fans of that whole family. So,
for sure.
Yeah, there you go, Donnie. Exactly.
Well, you guys ready to talk about a couple of serious things?
Yeah. Really quick. I wanted to say
on this show.
I wanted to say one thing really quick before you do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to say also really quick, everyone. I may have posted something last week that gave up a spot, and I'm sorry about that. It's only supposed to be for Your Saltwater Guide members. So sorry for posting spots and what I was doing and out there, what I was exactly doing and so on and so on. I did delete it. So because it's only for Your Saltwater Guide members, and I caught it afterwards after I was told, hey, you're supposed to be posting Your Saltwater Guide stuff instead of on your Facebook. So sorry about that, everyone. Just wanted to say sorry.
All right. You're forgiven.
Accidents happen.
Yeah, that sounds like something Dave Hansen would do.
Well, I wanted to just talk a little bit about something that Wayne Coteau and I have talked about a couple of days ago. And I don't know if you guys saw this on the news, but a visitor to San Diego down at Black's Beach who lives in Texas had lived previously in San Diego. It's not relevant, but moved to Texas and came to visit, maybe doing some business. He went out on the water at Black's Beach and he got stung by a stingray. And we talk a little bit about that on the game plan this week. And of course, stingrays, they're out in the water. There's a lot of them this time of year as the water warms up. If you don't shuffle your feet as you're going out, you could step on one. And one of the big mistakes that most people make is that when they're making their way back in, especially if you're out and you get a bite and you're fighting the fish back in, you walk backwards without thinking and you step on one. You've got to be really careful of those. And the reason you have to be careful is not only do they hurt like hell, and the thing is that the neurotoxin in them, it gets worse, or its effect is stronger on you in cold water. So you always soak the person's foot in hot water. But this individual, and he's not the only one, His foot swelled the next day. He went to the emergency room and they told him that he had a staph infection and they were going to have to cut his leg off in 72 hours. So within a 3-day period of time, 3 to 4 days, you can get a staph infection and you can actually die. And the reason that I bring this up is that 30 years ago, a friend of mine, Corky Carroll, wrote an article about staph infections, and he recommended to everybody to not go in the water if you have an open cut of any kind, because you can get through the bacteria the staph infection. That's what happened in this person's case. And what is the problem now is that, we have traditional forms of dirty water. We got the runoff from land. We've got the outfalls from the sewer plants. But what's happening now is all of this sewage is coming up from the Tijuana Slough. And because fish have fins, fish that are down that Coronado area and stuff may pick up the bacteria and be all the way up along the coast now. So please, if you have an open cut of any sort, don't go in the ocean until it heals up. And second of all, if you have an open cut or you get stung by the stingray, be sure that if the next day comes along and you have excessive swelling of any sort, you immediately go to the emergency room and have them look at it and clean it out again. Because as this doctor said, within 72 hours of getting that sting, he almost had his leg amputated.
Yikes.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. Gang,
Nice clean water.
That's beautiful.
I just read what Joe just said, though. I'm locked onto this Niguel Lake thing, and we got Billy Egan coming on from Western Outdoor News on Friday. This is absolute tragedy, just like what's going on, like Bill's talking about the raw sewage getting dumped into the ocean. We do it in California more than anybody. We can blame it on Tijuana all we want, but that's a bunch of crap. United States of America is the biggest polluter of the oceans, but we got a bunch of tree huggers that say we're not. The environmentalists are the very worst. And what they did at Niguel Lake on Sunday and Monday was one of the biggest tragedies to occur for children, because they just wiped out 15 years of fish. Because the last time they did this, there was no social media. And 15 years ago, they killed every fish in that lake and no one talked about it because it wasn't on social media. Well, city officials are going to have a lot of stuff to answer to, because we're bringing Billy Egan in on the biggest podcast in Southern California as far as fishing goes, and that's Your Saltwater Guide, and we're going to talk about this. Bill and I have talked about this 100 million times on this podcast about how they just blatantly pour chemicals into the ocean on a daily basis, like the Malibu fire, and everybody's like up in arms crying about the Tijuana River. Gang, you don't need to look down below the border. You can look at it right here, right now. We are destroying our ocean, and they want to stop Ryland from fishing. That's going to fix this. Not to take care of the urban runoff. Those Malibu fires, Bill, you know how many permits have been written up there? 3.
I heard there was like 70 or 90 out of 1,700 applications.
3 real solid permits where they can actually start to build is what I was told. 3. But
yes, because they need multiple permits is why.
Yeah, and they have no landfill wants to take that chemical, but you know where it's all going? Right into the Pacific Ocean. And you don't even see it on the news. You don't see it anywhere. But we're going to worry about a guy that's about to lose his foot from a stingray bite, and they're saying it's from the Tijuana River. I don't know if you've ever been out in the ocean. Probably most of the enviros haven't, but the water flows north to south. It does very, 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 very small amount of it's going to come up. So that stuff that's happening at Black's Beach, that's coming out of Oceanside and Dana Point and Laguna Beach and Newport. And so, gang, when you're pointing your fingers at foreign countries and stuff, you got to know where you're pointing your finger at. I'm sorry. I got all wound up on that, Bill, because that's not really the problem. The problem is we use the ocean as a toilet. We use the ocean as a trash can. And we don't want to address that. It's Jeanette and Dave. They went out fishing 2 years ago, and they caught a couple bass with Justin. So we got to stop Jeanette and Dave from fishing. They're destroying the ocean.
Well, you're exactly right, Dave. When 30 years ago in 1990, when Corky Carroll wrote that article about staph infections in the ocean, you know what beach he was referring to? Huntington Beach. He wasn't referring to the Tijuana Slough or El Segundo. It's all along the California coast. Anywhere where water washes offshore from rain, from our streets, from the sewer plants, you've got problems.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so sad that they don't want to address it. Like Bill sat into the meetings last week because I was in, and we would have got everybody on there. But my sister said, take a break. And so Bill was watching it. They want to close more of the ocean to fishing. They don't want to address any of the problems. So a lot of that meeting that Bill sat in with the Fish and Game Commission was focused on closing more of the ocean. That's going to make life so much better on the planet Earth, which is so unbelievable, right, Bill?
Not one bit of it was about opening up closed areas. Not one. When you look at all the petitions in the different bins, bin 1 and bin 2, they're all about expanding the MPAs, adding new MPAs. I think I reviewed one that was making them smaller, but it was only because it was covering an area that was not germane to the environment. So yeah, I mean, it's the things that they talked about the first couple of days. Do we have a couple minutes to kind of review?
Yeah, we're going over.
Okay. So the first day they talked about wolves, which Justin and I always get a big laugh out of, because if one comes through my yard, there'll be a shower of lead on its way to it. They talked about wolves. They talked about a couple other things, some housekeeping issues. And then they also talked about the red abalone on the first day. None of that really has anything to do with us. But the thing that struck me the most on that first day about the red abalone is I've never seen a red abalone. I've dove and gotten greens and blacks. I know that the reds are up north. They admitted that they have spent $10 million on red abalone, and they still can't open it up to the public to take abalone. And I started thinking about that, like, what if we had have gone to Australia and bought $10 million in red abalone and stuck them on the rocks up north? Would it be much better now? And we could go ahead and take abalone? So what a waste of money. And I would love for them to account where $10 million for abalone went. And then on the second day, what we talked about was how we're going to approach reviewing these proposals for the MPAs, and what is the timeline for that. So the first thing that they said, Scalar, our favorite person, was that we want to not have people now bother us with their opinion, basically, about MPA closures or additions or whatever. Sometime between March of next year and July of next year, you'll have the okay to call in or write in and give your opinion about these closures. The reason for that is they want all this time in between to read and study all the science and talk to all the people that they need to talk to. So they basically are going to do what they've done every time in the past, which is make a decision on all the information before the public can speak, and then allow the public to get the feelings off of their shoulders, and then the next day make a decision on it. So that's really what went on in the meeting up there. That's what they talked about, the timeline. And I made some notes on some of the things that they mentioned, which opened my eyes to things. I learned something every time. They said that in California, because we have recreational fishing for California halibut, only 14% of the halibut actually spawn in the state of California. If there was no fishing for halibut, 100% would spawn. Okay, where does that come from? How do you come up with a statistic like that? They said that you know how especially way back when we started this MPA thing, all of us, the three of us thought, why don't we have like a catch and release zone, Like they say like, hey, you can fish at this beach or offshore, but you have to catch and release everything. The reason that you can't do that, which I never understood myself, I thought that was a logical and a great thing to teach people to do, is that the scientists assume that 100% of all fish that are released die. And that's why they've done no science on it. And that's why they don't come back and say, we're going to do catch and release for calico bass or whatever, because they have assumed that they all die, which we know as a fact is not true. So,
well, yeah, look at the trout you were just fishing for. Those things have been caught 1,000 times and released. Some of the 5-star rivers that I fly around and go fly fishing on, that's never been able to take a fish on them. And they got 1 million trout on those things. So, and trout are way less got a chance to live, and we're releasing them all day and they're swimming away just fine. But
maybe
at
instead,
the end,
what they should do is we should start focusing on making sure that those people that are saying this are not spawning. Because that would be horrible.
Really? Definitely need to take them out of the DNA database.
Absolutely. It's pretty sad to think that they're saying the halibut don't spawn. It's like,
that is ridiculous.
Where do you come up with this shit? And they say this kind of crap when no one's watching, and they just spew it out. And I've been scolded many times at many meetings because they'll spray that crap out of their mouth, and then they'll go right into another thing, and nobody even gets a chance to even say anything. And then there's people that are in the audience that actually believe the garbage that just came spewing out of these people's mouths because there's no resistance. There's no one resisting. And if you do resist, as we saw, Brett and the rest of us at the meeting, all of a sudden they start saying, they're threatening us. They're threatening. No, we're just asking a simple question. Where the hell did you come up with that?
And they don't say that we're threatening them intellectually, which is what we're doing. They make it sound like we're like waiting at their home and doxing them and sending somebody over to beat them up at night. It's like, would we waste our time on these people doing that? Are you kidding me? We're more interested in fishing. So yeah, we should have our own personal opinion about things and not have the other person who doesn't believe our opinion tell us that we're threatening them. It's just ridiculous. Another thing that they were talking about over and over again was the fact that they have no money now. Now that the new administration's in place, they've reviewed a lot of things, like, for example, the stupid offshore wind generating systems, and they put the kibosh on all of that crap. So now they're saying like, oh, we have no money and stuff to pay for science and all that, which is bad because we need the science. And they're also saying that they want more participation by NGOs and anglers to provide them with the science and information. And I was a little bit confused about that because there's a lot of anglers and groups of anglers who've given information to the commission who hasn't used any of that information. They've actually, in some cases, used it against us. So do we want to work with them and get them more information? So that's something maybe to think about. The other thing is, hey, we're talking about the abalone, going back to the abalone, and all these people called in who know what they're doing, that are all divers, like Brent, and they call in and they say, in the areas where we've gone and we've crushed or removed and moved them to a new location, relocated the purple urchin or the red urchin, they've come back like crazy, the abalone. They're all over in those areas. Why can't we take abalone in those areas now that we can see that they're more? And without them really saying it, other people who called in said it, that otters love abalone. And abalone to an otter is like a Snickers bar to us. And so they're promoting more and more otters along the California coast, which will mean more and more closures and more areas where we can't take abalone. It doesn't look like in our lifetime, the three of us will ever see abalone to be taken again. It's crazy. And then lastly, well, second to last, was this whole thing about aquaculture. They were talking a lot about aquaculture. Now, if you went back a few years back, so in 1962, Hub SeaWorld came about, and that's when they tested all the food and medicine and all that for the different fish, not whales, but fish they were going to have at SeaWorld. And that was really when aquaculture in California began. And they have had the chains on them for 50 years saying, well, you can't grow out halibut, you can't do yellowtail, you can't do salmon, you can't do this and that. We're going to let you do a few white sea bass, and that's about it. Now the department is, and the commission is really talking all the time now about what can we do to have more aquaculture? Where can we grow more clams and mussels and fish offshore and all that? Why are they doing that now? After all these years of not doing that, are they doing that because they're going to say, hey, we grow salmon in pens now, so you don't need to have the right to fish for them anymore? So that is a big worry that's maybe what's coming down. And then last but not least, and Dave, you and I talked about this last time when we were at the meeting, was that there were 3 members of the commission there. There wasn't a full commission again. They were missing the other members. And if you remember, the other members who weren't there at the sand bass decision-making period were the ones who were supportive of anglers. One of them is a fellow who owns a hunting lodge. All 3 of those people were gone again from this meeting. So what does that mean? Does that mean they're so sick and tired of the BS they're not coming back as commissioners? Why is every decision in California made by 3 people that the 3 of us know nothing about the subject they're making a decision on?
Yeah, they've never been outside. It doesn't make any sense. But the cool thing about it, the whole process is, and the thing that we're most excited about is that we're all a part of it. And now we're getting to see all this from our side of the street. And it gives us hope. You know, Justin, he's down to the last little sliver of California to take Madden and Ryland deer hunting in. And it's sad. And like Jim Shockey said, any potato head on the planet that wants to bring a timber wolf into their neighborhood, that just tells you after they say that, you don't want to listen to anything else they have to say. And Jim Shockey thinks it's the funniest thing. And Jim's a kind of a big deal in the hunting industry. He thinks it's so funny that the California and the United States of America, where Bill lives in Colorado, are spending $1 million per wolf. He's like, I can't believe we're selling these things. We're selling monsters to the United States of America. And Bill, in the meeting, they were still talking about monsters, and there's still that handful of booger eaters that want to bring the grizzly bear back to California.
and in Colorado too. God. They're nuts.
I gotta get there when they get that grizzly bear, wherever they introduce that to. That's where Kelly and I are moving to, because it's going to make some of the greatest content ever, Justin, when they're eating people. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get millions of views. But I'm coming to Bill's pretty soon, because Bill's, where Bill lives, Justin, I don't know if you saw the tracking thing that he has for the wolves. They're right down the street from Bill's house. They're just hanging all around the neighborhoods. Are these timber wolves? These aren't coyotes.
Are they timbers or are they grays?
I don't know. They're big giant monsters.
Yeah, I think they're grays here.
Gray wolves. Yeah.
That's an amazing animal too, right?
Yeah, it's an amazing animal on your wall.
At a distance.
Put it on your wall. That's about it.
Yeah,
crazy.
Really. And you know what's funny about it is that, you know, they've lost between $750,000 and $1 million per animal. All the ones that have died that I know of, maybe there's 1 or 2 otherwise that have been shot by ranchers. You know, all of that stuff is crazy. But to spend that kind of money to reintroduce these animals here and then have no control over them, and then they have a collar, they lose the collars. So what the state does, because they've spent so much money, and it's like the very top people in the state, the governor and all of their buddies who've never hunted in their life, and his husband and stuff, they've never hunted, you know. they're the ones that want these animals. There's really nobody else in the state who wants them. And that's what's so frustrating with the whole thing. So what they do is they do these little sound bites that they put out on the news. They try not to talk about the predation of them, the shooting of them. They like to talk about the good stuff. So just yesterday, they put out on the news a picture of all the little babies, the little pups, 4 pups from one. And aren't they cute? And look at them play. And aren't they wonderful? Oh my gosh, they're little murderers in the growing.
You know what's great if you shoot an adult wolf? The babies don't go anywhere, so you can shoot them too.
That's good. and if you get them all lined up in a row and you get them with one bullet, that's called a good shot.
Yeah, it is. That'd be a really good shot.
Yeah.
That's what the shotgun is for.
Joe Rogan and Cliff Gray and Jim Shockey, they're all just saying, you guys are introducing monsters into neighborhoods. It's just the craziest thing. And it's just part of these are the people that are making the decisions in California, whether you can fish or not, gang. So that's why I believe this podcast is so important. That's why I think we caught the attention of everybody across the United States, because now I got so many people that want to be on the podcast. They saw what we did. And I know there's a lot of people that had a lot to do with helping the sand bass, but they saw the power of Your Saltwater Guide show up at the commission meeting. And they're like, hey, can you guys show up over here in Florida? They're trying to close some more state-owned land. They want to close this and that. They want to close these golf courses, start building high-rises, take away all the beaches and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we'll show up. You just let us know. We're going to go. And we're going to be a force to reckon with. Huh?
Don't they have someone over there to show up? I mean, that would cost a lot of money to send you over there.
No, not to send us over there. Show up to these Zoom meetings. The group, the family, Your Saltwater Guide family. They saw us showing up. We'll show up.
Gotcha.
Just going to the Zoom meeting. No one goes. I mean, Bill, there was no one at this freaking fishing game commission meeting where they're trying to close more of the ocean. No one shows up. And then they all suck their thumb later and they're like, why did they take this? Well, where were you?
Exactly. And that's what I was telling you, Dave, is that on day one, there was 93 people online watching it. 4 of them, one was a hunter and 3 anglers. All the rest were government employees and NGOs. And then the next day, which was the MPA day, there was 74 people on there and just a handful. There was your sister, me, Wayne, and can't remember her name all of a sudden, from Sea Landing in Santa Barbara. And those were the Jamie Dimon. And those are basically the 4 people. And what's really crazy is all these years with CCA and all this, we would have 2 or 3 people call in. They have several thousand members and only like 2 or 3 people would watch the meetings. So having Your Saltwater Guide have hundreds of people watching the meetings, hundreds of people calling in is such a 180 change on what has happened over the last 15 years with these meetings, whether they're in person or later in the last 5 years on these Zoom meetings. To have so many of us show up has made such a big difference because it completely caught the commission off guard that now they had to be responsible to all of these individuals who wanted to promote fishing and hunting.
And something just got brought to my attention. Lauren Rose, Roy Rose's wife's telling me, man, I didn't even think about this. All those fish that were restocking, now they just killed all the fish in Laguna Niguel Lake. All this new batch of fish that they're going to put, these are all fish that have been highly vaccinated. Think about that, gang. I didn't even think about that. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for everything they're doing. That's why they don't want Justin to hunt. They don't want you to go get your own food. They don't want Bill and me to fish. They don't want us to go get our own food. They don't want us to eat these. Huh?
Looks like I'll be poaching.
Yeah, they don't want us to get our own fish out of the lake they want us to eat these highly vaccinated fish. It's such a gross thought. And thank you, Lauren, for bringing that up. But that's just a gross thought to think of. And I didn't even think of that. So thank you. We're going to be talking about that a lot more on the show, that these freshwater fish, we don't even know what the hell's in them anymore. We don't
It's like
even know
what they're doing. It's like what they're doing with our vegetables, our produce too, right? They're spraying all that stuff on there to kill all the bugs and everything else, but then they rinse it off with water, just a quick rinse, and they call it good. I mean, if you think about it, that poison's still on there, and you're eating it.
Yeah, it's grown into the food.
Yeah,
It's in the soil, and it's grown into the food at some extent.
Yeah, it's crazy. All this stuff going on, and the way they're going to cure everything is to stop Bill and Dave and Justin from fishing. Well, really, not even us. We're just old. We're done. But they're going to stop Ryland and Madden and Zach and Sean and Riley and all the young people on the planet today. If we can just stop them from fishing, everything's going to be okay.
yeah.
That's
Talking about fishing, I got something kind of exciting I'm doing this year. Has to do with veterans.
Cool.
War Heroes on Water.
War Heroes on Water, baby.
War Heroes on Water is coming right up. It's coming right up. We're going to be the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, or 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of September up in beautiful Newport Beach in front of Anthony Shea's house. We're going to have the parade, and we're going to do all the things that we do. And I'm going to be bringing the War Hero guys on the show. We're going to be talking with some of the War Heroes like we do every year. And you got to go to War Heroes on Water, gang, and check out the website. Check out the donation. This is a year-round donate to the War Heroes. Every penny goes straight to the guys and gals that have given everything they could possibly give to us. Justin's running that big, beautiful 61 Viking for Matt Murray, and Matt Murray's 100% in. He donated his boat. Justin's donating his time. Justin's going to get to hang out with all the guys and gals from War Heroes, and Justin and I were such close buddies. We're going to be teamed up together because Justin's going to be dragging around that giant bait tank. So you know me, I'm going to be snuggled up tight right next to him looking for some more anchovies.
Yeah.
But this will be the 10th year. I've been a part of it every year. It's pretty spectacular. I donate my time, fly up and go donate. I'm on a different yacht every year, but I'm just want to be there. I just want to be with the War Heroes. I give back as much as I possibly can to all law enforcement. Anybody that's in the law enforcement, I 1,000% respect all of you guys, because when I pick up the phone and dial 911, I want you coming full force, blue lights flashing, guns ablazing. I am not going to try to talk the guy or gal into not killing me. I don't believe in that. I want you to show up, and I want you to shoot him in the face. I'm not that guy. I don't think we should have a counselor show up, Bill, when someone's trying to grab Kelly or Marley, and show up and have to talk them off the ledge. And as far as firefighters, 100%, I'm 1,000% on your side. I want you guys showing up when there's a fire. And then as far as war veterans, I'm 63, almost 64, but I got a spectacular life that I did nothing. I didn't do anything to deserve this life. So if I can give back to anybody in the military, any veterans, anybody, I'm right there for you. When I sign new people up to the website and I talk to them on the telephone, first thing I ask them is, what do you do? As soon as I find out what they do, the next thing is, here, you get a lifetime membership. I don't want a penny from it. If you're in any of that business, because that is the most important thing on the planet, is taking care of me and my family. So veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, you guys have taken care of me, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. So that's the least I can do, is give back a little bit of my time. And I'm so excited that Justin's going to be part of this year, and you're going to find out. We think we're giving a bunch to these guys and gals, and when we walk away from it, we get so much out of it, Justin. You're going to shed tears. You're going to feel feelings you never knew you had when you're sitting on the back deck watching these guys and listening to them, and they're opening up, and these gals are opening up these stories of what the garbage they had to see and put up with, so that you and I can live, and Bill can live here in the beautiful United States of America and live with the freedoms we have. It's because of the men and women that gave everything. So it's pretty bitching. I can't say it any better. I can't talk about it any more than I already do. And the people that are part of my family, you all know. You guys matter a ton to me. Matt Ryan, you know. And all the rest of the firefighters and all the rest of the law enforcement and the veterans that are part of this, you guys know where I am. And I'm super stoked that Justin and Matt are part of War Heroes on Water. It's going to be an incredible event this year.
That is very cool. And my question to you guys is, who would want to be a social worker, right? Like, who exactly is going to apply for the job? Okay, this guy just murdered his wife. I need you, Mr. Social Worker, to walk in there and sit down and talk to him. Who's going to apply for that? Can't have a gun, can't protect yourself. They don't even think things through. They're so dumb. Like, a social worker to go talk to a criminal, the criminal's just going to be like, I'm so glad you stopped by. Have a seat. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Bam! So, oh my gosh. And thank you for all of our veterans and all of our firefighters and our policemen and all of the things that they do. I too am very grateful for so many things they've done for me and my family.
Yep. It's a pretty cool thing. And then Saturday morning, because of ReelQuick and Daniel and everybody, we're going to be live at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing for Fish for Life again with Jim Holden and all the young people that you know, they're living a rough life, and Donna and Jim Holden and everybody involved with Fish for Life, we're taking a bunch of kids fishing again. We'll be live at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing in the morning, coming live at the 9 o'clock show, and it'll probably go over it because it's a super special event. So if you've never seen Fish for Life, set your alarms for Saturday morning. This is an event that if you come out of this without some tears in your eyes, when you see the joy on these children's faces, it's an incredible event. Each one of these children, and a lot of them are highly functioning children with some pretty gnarly defects, and we make them the most important thing that day. And Donna lays out the red carpet, and Jim Holden announces each one of these young people, and they walk down that red carpet, and it's one of the most incredible things. And then we take them out on the Dana Pride and take them fishing for the day, and it's just absolutely insane. And when you watch this whole thing come together, gang, you're gonna feel pretty proud of yourself that you're a part of this. And Fish for Life is always looking for us also to jump in there and help and donate to them. So we'll be having the QR code up on the screen during this, and it's always happening. Somebody's trying to gather up some type of cash to put this together. It takes money, and it takes the whole family of Your Saltwater Guide. So I know I'm always asking you guys to give, but the things I ask you to give for are actual real, and all the money goes to that doesn't go to administration, and 1/10 of 1% goes back to the people that are getting benefited. Everything I ask you for, 100% of the money goes to 100% of the people, which is pretty spectacular. So watch Fish for Life. Billy Egan's going to be on the show on Friday talking about this debacle that happened at Niguel Lake. If you haven't seen it, just type in Niguel Lake on social media and get ready to cry. Hundreds of thousands of fish were wiped out one day because somebody decided to turn the aerators off at the lake and then dump a bunch of poison in it to kill the grass.
What?
Yeah, that's what they did. Go look it up.
Is someone going to prison?
No, come on. It's government, baby.
No, they got a promotion.
Government, baby. They're doing whatever they want to do whenever they can. And they just wiped out all these fish. That's where both of my boys learned how to fish. And that's where Billy Egan learned how to fish when he was a little boy. And our good friend Adam Cargill that comes on the show all the time. Like, Niguel Lake's been a staple of Southern California forever and ever and ever. And the thing's always had carp and bluegill and bass and trout in that lake, and they killed every single fish in there on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, I think it was Monday. They killed all the fish in there. They turned off the aerators Monday or Sunday night and poured the poison in Monday morning and killed everything because they didn't want any grass in the lake.
It's amazing. You know, here in Colorado, we have a similar situation where we have a reservoir that's leaking, and they need to take all the water out of the reservoir in order to repair it. So they know that that's going to kill the fish, obviously, right? So what they did was they went statewide on the newspaper, a Facebook, neighbor next door, everywhere. And they said, if you're an angler, please come to the lake, regardless of your age. If you're over 16, you need a license. And we have suspended all the rules for taking fish here. We want you to come down to the lake. We're going to give you 2 months to catch all the fish in the lake. You can take home as many fish as you want. That's how this should be done. Not pouring poison into the lake and killing everything off. It's crazy.
It's sad. Hey, Madden, how are you, little buddy? Are you having fun on your brother's birthday? Yeah, you getting all kinds of cool stuff for your brother's birthday?
Someone
Can't wait for cake, I bet.
Joey's daughter.
Cake's going to be good.
What's Joey's daughter's name?
I don't know.
Jacqueline?
I don't know. I forget stuff in 1 second.
Oh. What'd you just say? Yeah, you forgot.
Jacqueline's your new girlfriend?
What?
You guys are getting married?
What? You didn't tell me about this.
You guys are, wow. I don't think Joey knows either.
Yeah. You tell her dad?
No,
No,
Bill, you got anything to add, or we're going to shut this thing down and we'll be back with you guys tomorrow?
Yeah, the only thing I have to add is I just want to remind everybody next week I'm going to Cedros Island. So I won't see you on Wednesday, and there won't be a game plan for Thursday, but I will be back with you the following week with not only an insane fishing report from Cedros Island, but also updates on all surf fishing stuff that you need to know.
Yeah, Ron's going down Friday, so Ron will be there Friday. He's fishing Saturday, Sunday, Monday, coming home on Tuesday. It looks like you guys are going to pass each other in the air, so that's cool. Hopefully
I'll be going Monday, so I might see him there Monday evening.
All right, cool. Yeah, hopefully that wind calms down because they're calling 25 knots on Saturday. Wow.
Well, I don't want to be flying in that little tiny plane in the wind, that's for sure.
What'd you say, Justin?
over here, starting right now, is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Gang, check out our game plans. They're going to be very limited. What Bill and Justin and I would suggest you do this weekend is anything but go on a boat.
Right. Really good
wish we could
bay fishing.
We wish we didn't have to say that, but Justin, Bill, one of our favorite phone calls we get from members after our game plans go out, when they call us up after we tell them not to go, and then they'll call Justin up on Saturday and go, "Hey, I went out yesterday and it was really rough." And Justin's all, "You think I'm what? Why do you think I don't care if you go or not. We're just trying to tell you don't go. Save your rubles, save your money, save everything. Stay home. It's even. Let's just pretend like you got into a bite and caught a couple fish. Really? But you beat the living crap out of your boat, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kids. You caught really? We live in Southern California. We have 300 bitchin' days. Those 65 crappy days, you don't have to go. Okay?
I even canceled going on the Viking because of the weather. It's the big Viking. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be worth it. The price of everything nowadays, why go out there and beat the crap out of yourself? But those of you that decide to go this weekend, please take videos and send them to us, because we get a lot of mileage out of that. We'll talk about you, and you can take your friends and family out there and make us some cool videos, and we'll watch them on the show. It'll be awesome. Thank you. And everybody, I want to say hi to Jeanette and David. I hope everything's going good. It's so wonderful to see you back on here with us, Jeanette. We love you very, very much. I know everything's been tough. Sounds like the parts you showed us look really cool. I'm sorry that the mover screwed up all your stuff, but we love you, Jeanette and Dave, and we're glad that you're on the show with us again. Thank you for joining us today. I will see you all tomorrow. We're going to be back with Vague Rods. We're going to be hanging out, talking all kinds of cool stuff that I saw. I got to spend some time with Doc Ski out there, so that'll be fun to talk about that and how much he loves you and everybody else. Have a great day. Turn off the news. They're all